Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I had a phone call planning this film festival. Got all kinds of people that trying to contact me, trying to get me to make plans, and I'm happy for it. So, Shawn P. Greene, the Shawn P. Greene Show, www.shawnpgreene.com. Yeah, what a morning. All right, so we are excited to bring you entertainment. Hang on a second, Mama. I have my daughter Mariah is not in school today. I gotta cover her up. Sit down. There you go. Sit. Cover her up because she has no sense of decency at times. Yeah, put it over your knees. There you go, my beautiful child. My human adult, Mariah Gabrielle Greene. Say hi, Mariah. Say hi.
Hi.
Isn't she adorable? It's my beautiful child. Boom, boom. She's gonna be. How old are you gonna be this Saturday? How old?
20.
20. You're right. High five. Right now you're 19, but you're gonna be 20 years old on Saturday, right? 20. You're a huge, big girl now, right? Next year you'll be 21. The next year it'll be 22. But we won't go ahead of ourselves, right? 21. 20 years old this Saturday. And I will be 2 days later 51. Dada's going to be 51 years old. Oh my. What? That's Santa Claus. Or no, that's Frosty. So, all right. Go ahead, go play. Have fun. So, yes, I got my daughter home from school. It's spring break or I don't know what they call it, Easter break, or I guess the pagans will call it anything they want. But it's basically a break from school for the week. And I got my beautiful daughter with me this week, hanging out, chilling out. She just came back from a little family vacation or family trip over the weekend with her mother. Them two went to see Rosemary's cousins out in past Syracuse, and that's all that's happening. Today's Tuesday. Pastor Mark Robshaw again has stiffed me, and there's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? He's a busy fella, and he's kind of stretched and can only commit to so many things. I don't expect him to be available like I thought he would be, today. Especially he said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll come do your film or your podcast. So, and anyways, I went to an interview yesterday with one of the bigger radio stations in the country, and they run 5 stations. They have a urban, they have a couple rock, and conservative talk. So we'll see how it goes. It was a sales position, but also there's a part-time production position. So we'll see. Cross your fingers. Wish for the best. Anything new? I don't have much going on in my world beyond that right now. Oh, taxes. All right. So here's something that people probably won't talk about. I don't even know if it's available. You got to do your taxes, man. Looking at I'm looking at this company. No, that's not the one I was looking for. I'm going to go to the source of this information. But, anyways, okay, I'm going to be working on that all week this week, is my taxes. Finish it up. When you have complicated situation. I went to school, I own a home, I had unemployment, and I did some investments with my IRA. Problem is, according to the IRA, you have to have earned income to contribute to it, or they penalize you. Man, you know what? They just look for all kinds of ways to take your money. Even though I had income because of the scholarship, because of the grants, the unemployment, it's not considered earned income. So you can't contribute to your IRA without a penalty. Who knew? I'm sure many people knew. But because this is the first year, I actually didn't have a paycheck where I paid taxes. I didn't have a clue that this was going to be an issue. So I got to work on that. There's a tax service, though. I mean, TurboTax is a lot easier for people who are like me or do-it-yourselfers. You get it done. You could get your stuff, your federal works, pay federal income. If you make under $73,000 a year, you can have that done for free. But the states, I think, are a little different. You have to pay for it. And when it comes to complicated situations, I mean, you can download forms if you know what you're doing. Only if you know what you're doing, and mostly it's CPAs or people that are in the tax preparation business. And mind you, not everybody that works in tax preparation, like H&R Block employees, know what they're doing. They're seasonal people for the most part. They're not CPAs. They don't understand every tax law, and they often have to go to their supervisor to ask questions. How do I know? Because I was in one of the positions before. I worked for Eagle Tax 1 year. Actually, 2 years in a row I worked at Eagle Tax down in Middletown, New York. And I also worked for Brennan Law, or Brennan Tax Service, which was run by Mr. Brennan. Had several locations throughout the Hudson Valley and lower Catskill area. I forgot his first name, but he pretty much worked cheap. Let's see if I could find him. Brennan Tax. See if he's down there still. That was 15 years ago. But they also got Tax Act. That's another one. TurboTax is, I think that's Intuit. That's the name of the company. They also own Mint and a couple other services. I got with it today. So Mr. Brennan, I think maybe is not doing that anymore. So, but anyways, Mr. Brennan had a service down there. He was a lawyer, and he had a lot of offices, but he also in grocery stores, namely ShopRite. He had the temporary tax services there, and I went to one in Port Jervis, New York, at that ShopRite. I operated out of there. So between those two companies, I learned quite a bit about tax forms, tax structure. Most of the people that went to ShopRite at the grocery store, they were you're basic human beings. You're not your complicated tax situations. They were just basic people like, hey, here's my W-2s, and here's all my dependents. And some of them had property, but most people didn't. So I learned from Brennan and from Eagle Tax back in 2009, 2010, how to do tax preparation. And I learned how to file them basically by paper too. You didn't have to do them all digital back then. Of course, everybody wants it digital now. But tax preparation is, once you learn it, it's easier. It's easier to figure it out. But every year, they add either a new rule within the the tax situations, or they take away some benefits. Every year there's, like, I think Trump had an issue where you had a credit. This past couple of years, if you had a stimulus check, it's considered a credit. It's not considered an income. But if you didn't get it, then you let them know you didn't get it, and then you would have that credited towards your taxes for this year. Me personally, I would defer those tax credits until tax season, because you don't know if you'll have to pay or not by the time it comes up. Now, last year I had to pay New York State, like, I don't know, $1,400. That's what I owe them. And actually about 2,000. Just a couple tax problems not problems, but just I had unemployment. I didn't get no taxes taken out, and so I had to end up paying that tax at the end of the year. So that was kind of a big mistake. So if you do get unemployment for a prolonged period of time, make sure that you get your taxes taken out. Don't hold that up until the end of the year, because then you'll have to owe that big lump sum that time of the year. So they got TurboTax, they got Tax Act. You have Jewett something, or Jackson Hewitt. I'm sorry, that's Jackson Hewitt is the other one. I think Walmart has a bunch of those housed in there. I mean, they're big companies. And if you're lucky, you'll have one person that's there ready to answer some of your questions. And typically they'll send their better people there. But sometimes, you get what you get with temporary tax people that have no clue about certain parts of your tax issues. Especially if you own property or multiple properties, or you have multiple streams of income beyond just a W-2. You have several 1099s, some of them that were interest for your bank, some of it that's somebody hired you. Like, for instance, a friend of mine hired me locally to help with a photo booth that they had. I did it for about 2 years, very sparingly. The first year I did it several times, so I think I earned about $1,200, maybe 14, something like that. So I had to count that as income, because anything that's over $600 from anybody, you have to count that as income. Anything under 600, you don't. So the second year I only worked for them one time, got paid $250, but I didn't have to report that income, because it's a 1099, and I didn't have to report it. No, actually, they didn't even have to give me a 1099, which is like a subcontractor's form, instead of in lieu of being an employee, which would be a W-2. So the 1099 they didn't have to make, and I didn't have to report that income, because only 250. Same concept with your business. Now, businesses, if you run a business, you got 4 different entities you can run it as. You can run it as a sole proprietor, which is just you, your name, and you're the owner of this business. Sole proprietor, you still have to file taxes with your state quarterly. Then you have the LLC, which could be a fictitious name like Junk in the Trunk LLC. So you run your business under that. Then you have a C corporation, which is it's like the biggest entity to have. It's a corporation. It's like, Apple and Facebook and all them companies, Chevrolet or GM, Ford. That's what a corporation is. S corporation would be a lower level corporation, but you can have several people on the board. Either one of those corporation situation. Happy Tuesday, Mama. Glad you're watching. Somebody else is watching, stalking me, besides Mom. Make sure you call me if you like. We're talking taxes today. It's all about the income. Usually it's the 15th is when it's due, but this season it's due the 18th. And Mom, when you get a chance, check out the beginning of the show. Mariah was popped on and she said hi. So yeah, the key is to make sure you do not ignore tax filing if you have income. Now, if you're on Social Security or you're on, any kind of disability benefits that are tax-free, I guess you can call it, you don't have to report that stuff. That's, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't have a complicated income situation or you don't have property taxes that you're filing, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. Most people that have disability through the veterans are all tax-free, so they don't have to do tax returns anymore. But if you have a business while you're doing that, then you have to file taxes. And again, every state's different, but typically quarterly is what you're doing your taxes for. And that's usually filed with whatever county you're in, and so on and so forth. But I'm trying to find other options here. Tax. I'll just put tax. Tax Slayer. That's another one. Free Tax USA. File your free federal income tax. Of course, I said H&R Block, and I think Quicken is a good program. If you're into accounting and bookkeeping, you have a business, you got to keep your books straight. Having a program like Quicken is ideal because that can easily be, at the end of the year when you're ready to file your taxes, that can easily be transferred over to your TurboTax, system of reporting, or any company. Company is called Peachtree, which is good for accounting, personal business. If you don't have somebody that does your taxes with you, or you don't have a secretary or somebody who understands the legal parts of your entity, Quicken is a good program to work together on to make sure your company is in order. And that's about it. I mean, the IRS, you can get every form, anything that you need to file with the IRS. You do not have to buy it from any system. Now, if you're doing it through them, then they provide the forms and they charge you for it. But you can go to the irs.gov and you can download any form you need for free for any year. And again, every year it's going to change. There's some things will be different. 2020 and 2021 will be two different forms because of newer laws. But for the most part, everything that you need is free downloadable forms on the irs.gov. Every state also provides all their forms on their websites. ny.gov, I think maybe is New York State. Just look for the tax preparation. You can do all that stuff by yourself for free, and you can mail it. And it'll cost you some time. If you don't know what you're doing, you need to talk to people. But if you do know what you're doing, you download every form for free, fill it out, sign it, make copies for yourself, and then send out all those original W-2s or 1099s or whatever forms that you have to submit with it, and you send it in the mail, and it'll cost you maybe $2, maybe $5 if you got a good envelope and you got a lot of forms that you have to send out. $5 versus what average is about $250 people are paying to have their taxes filed. Of course, it's a lot easier and better to have it filed electronically, I think. You could do that for free on IRS website. New York State, I'm not certain as far as their electronic system, but you can file electronically, usually simultaneously with federal and state together in all those tax preparation software or online applications. But yeah, you could save yourself a ton of money if you just take the time to figure it out, because hey, it's your money. It's your benefits. It's your tax credits. You can put it in the hands of somebody that might know what they're doing at these fly-by-night tax services. Personally, I would prefer to go to somebody who's a CPA. Now, like around here in Western New York, we have a company called EG Tax, and the lady that runs it, she's a CPA, and she has several locations. But again, she hires people that work for her, and they don't know everything, although they're supposed to be trained and to understand how to at least research all these things. But the workers don't all know what they're doing. So it's much better for you to be smart and to know what it's all about, what it means, what tax forms mean. What is a 1099? How many different 1099s are there? Those are all ways that you get income. They have a 1099 gov, 1099 ing or int, 1099 miscellaneous or MSC or MCS, MSC, I think. Sorry. So you have different forms of income that you have to file. W-2, if you work for somebody, it's a must. They have to send those to you before the end of January. So you have to get that at least by the first week of February. You can file those taxes. Now, some software can almost automatically transfer all that information just based on your company's. Each company has a number that they transfer information from, and based on your Social Security, they bring in your income from that company. So you gotta make sure you report all reportable income possible. And this year, I think crypto is a big deal. So if you have invested in crypto and you had losses or gains, you got to report it. Although crypto was intended to be flying under the radar, I think Biden's administration is going after all that crypto income. So you got to check that out. A lot of corner stores are getting paid through crypto. People who want an alternative way and a way to not have pay taxes. You know, it crypto is not a tax shelter. It's still kind of like a wild west right now of income and expense, but they're going to catch up to it, especially if the government starts cracking down on it, which they are intending to do right now. So just consider being smart about reporting. Know your tax forms, what they mean. I mean, YouTube is great because they'll give you details of what all these forms are. And even, the IRS website will give you little video instructions on how to understand all these forms. See, the IRS has, file, and you have all these different ways to file. You have the individual, which is you. If you had a business under your name, then that you would still file it under business, self-employed income. Any charities and nonprofits, that's if you contribute more than you normally would. International taxpayers, people that employ you overseas, contract work. Federal and state governments, Indian tribal governments, and then tax exempt bonds. Okay. And if you're just doing individual, these are all your places where you can get your tax forms right there on IRS. The tab is file. You can file an extension if you feel that you need more time and you do not owe money. You could file an extension. I think it's up to 6 months, October. The problem is that if you file for an extension and you owe money, then they're going to put penalties on it and you'll be paying interest. You can get your tax record, you can make a PIN, and again, right there under that, it says file your taxes for free. You can do it electronically. Okay, again, here's what I was saying. I'm looking at the irs.gov under file, under free filing. Gives you an extension. October 17th will be the extension date. You still gotta spend. You still owe money on time, or else here's your penalties. They're saying. Doesn't say specifically on this webpage what the penalties are, but you will owe penalties if you don't do that. But there's the whole IRS government tax information is all on their website. There's tons and tons. If it was all printed, it would be huge books, which they used to operate with before. So make sure you get your child tax credits. I got newer things going on with that. Again, recover your rebates from the economic impact payments, they call it. There he is. Tax season. Duck season. Tax season. Duck season. Fire! I don't know why I said that. It's going to be a short show today. My man, Pastor Rob Shaw, again, stiffed me. So, can't rely on his ability to be on the show. I do have a couple things I'm going to do this afternoon at the church, preparing for a better broadcast experience. We'll just go from there. Got to take care of some things. InfoWars. I know people don't want to talk about InfoWars most of the time, but the guy that was on the show, I just happened to catch it, was a tax preparer, and I think he did a great job. So I'm gonna see if I can find that. I'll find taxes. So 716-253-1870 if you're interested in phoning a friend. Not because we got a game show, but just because want to chat, ask questions, bring up any topic. It's what I'm. It's the whole intention. I got a couple new videos that I'm going to be loading up soon. I did have an announcement put out there this morning when Great Lakes Christian Film Festival. Uh, Actually, no, when I was interviewed by TCT. So if you go to glcff.com, you'll see the interview right there on the front page, I believe, or at least down on the bottom, the blog. Yep. Nope. I should have been on the blog this morning. Let's check it out. There it is. So I had the TCT interview with Tom Nolan, son of the directors of the whole thing, of the TCT network. He has this show. He does TCT Today. And he's a good broadcaster, I thought. I was really impressed by that whole experience. But Tom Nolan interviewed me back in September in regards to the Great Lakes Christian Film Festival. And we talked about how, Hollywood versus Christian media and, the differences between the worldview and the perspective and what's going on trending with the Christian films. And I also put the interview with me and Mike Randall from Channel 7. So I got that on that page. So you just go to glcff.com, go to the news tab, and it should be there. So I'm surprised it wasn't down on the very first spot here. Usually it's right there, but it's on my Twitter page there also. And it should be on the Facebook page. So check that out when you get a chance. Anyways, Shawn P. Greene, ShawnPGreene.com, Shawn P. Greene Show. It's tax season. You got many options. So go get this taxes done. Don't hesitate. Don't have to pay your penalties. And more like if you wait a year, $1,500 will end up being $1,600, and then it just keeps on growing and compounding. Taxes and fees depends on what state you're in. New York State, they're going to get their money. They're going to find ways to get that money. So you make sure you pay up as best as you can. Save your money for tax season because you never know what's going to happen. So I really don't have much more. I think that's all I want to talk about is just encouraging people to do their taxes. Don't hesitate. Don't play games with the government because to them it's not a game. To them it's serious business, man. It's, what I'm saying, how else are they going to pay all that money for all these different things that they're expecting to fund Ukraine? They need you to pay up, man. I mean, some of you are already paying up through your taxes, normally your income taxes. But then I tell you what, you shouldn't give the government any more than you need to. So file your taxes and know your rights. Know what's allowed to deduct. You have a standard deduction as an individual, but you also have a deduction for a business. You have up to 5 years to report, some income. First 5 years, you can have a negative because most businesses don't gain 10 grand, 10,000, to $100,000 the first year. Most businesses take time to grow, to get income, to get clients. most of your money is spent on investing or reinvesting to grow the business and to, depends on the type of business. So, it takes time to make that happen, make that right, have a presentable business to the general public, good products, good service, good appeal. Could be just a website, or it could be a physical building like a cafe, a bookstore. There's all kinds of retail type things, situations, online and in person. I mean, you could be just a gamer. I don't know, a YouTuber, but just make sure that your income that you get is reported. Don't cheat on it. Don't lie about stuff. Tell them the truth up front so you don't have issues at the end. All right? That's all I got. I just want to thank you guys for listening. Just remember, Jesus Christ is Lord, Lord of all. And whether you believe it or not now, in the end, where it says every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So I would say make sure that he's Lord of your life now, so that you're not just saying it, but he's still not going to be your Lord at the end and you become his enemy. Even the demons knew who Jesus Christ was, and they shunned and fled, and they can't stand the name. So, well, I'll let you go. Shawn P. Greene, ShawnPGreene.com. Tune in tomorrow. Word Wednesday. Word Wednesday is what we usually do. Kind of give you a beautiful message about whatever God's putting on my heart that day. So, keep it locked. Shawn P. Greene, the Shawn P. Greene Show.com. Have an awesome day. You too, mother. Awesome. God bless everybody.